out here for the hardest game with Ben Shalom. Ben, there's an art to guiding a hot property like Adam Azim. Saturday Lipinets is a step up from Bahara Davies, it's fair to say?
Yeah, massive step up. World level. Sergey, extremely confident. Has only accepted this fight based on a promotional contract of what happens if he wins, which is a unique proposition from someone like that. And yeah, this is a massive step up, and one we only took because of Adam's performance against Bahara Davies, who's starting to show signs of what we know he's capable of what he does in the gym day in, day out. It was superb. We think he's now world level, and we want to show that on Saturday night.
For the benefit of people who might not automatically understand that, Saturday Lipinets has said, if we win, we want a promotional contract with Boxer, and we want further lucrative options.
They only took this fight based on the future. They aren't here to fight and get money. They're here to earn a contract, and that was it. And that's how confident they are. And look, you have to take risks. And especially with someone that has ambitions of Adam, he wants to win world titles, and he wants to win world titles quickly. So I think he could put in a statement on Saturday night.
I spoke to Sergey about the status of the IBO title compared to the other four belts. It's not someone I want to get bogged down in. I just want to ask you simply, do you regard it as a world title the same way as the other versions, or do you have a caveat next to it?
We know it's not. We know it's not. And I know Ed Levine well, and we know it's not the level of the four major governing bodies, but it's a huge statement at this stage in your career. It shows the level that we're at. And Sergey's won an IBF world title and has been in those world championship fights and has only lost to the very best. It symbolises real progress. He's won the European. He's now about to fight for the IBO world title, and then the four major governing bodies will be looking at next.
He won the European title. Obviously, we know that he dropped the European title because it didn't suit you at the time to fight Dalton Smith. I get that. That's business. That's boxing. It's not the amateurs. But what did you make of Dalton Smith's performance the other night, and how do you feel about that matchup soon?
Yeah, I thought it was a great performance against an unknown opponent. It's a fight that will happen. It's a fight that I look forward to happening. It's a fight that, in boxing history, and ever since I've watched it, the big name gets called out and they get goaded into fights. For it to be happening to Adam Azim at 22 years old says a lot about where Adam Azim's at. It's very rare, actually, that it's not the 22-year-old begging for the fight with a 28-year-old. For me, they need that fight. They've run it out of options, and you can see that from the last opponent. And Adam will take it at the right time for him, and we'll take it at the right time for us. And for him, it's about maximising his potential, maximising his earnings, and it's a big British fight. I'm sure it will happen this year, and it will happen on Adam Azim's terms.
When it comes to the chief support, Callum Simpson versus Elvis Anorga, I want to say to you, he was quite colourful, Elvis Anorga, on that stage today. But I would like to clarify something or get your thoughts. Some people might have thought, I think Andy Scott thought he said the M-word. I actually think he said Black Schwarzenegger. So now I go and say it by accident. I'm going to have to do something about that. I think he said Black Schwarzenegger.
No, he did. He did. I thought it was great. I think people don't realise a boxer works their whole life for an opportunity like this. He's making the most of that opportunity. You got to do that in the ring, and you got to do it outside the ring. Give a reason for why the promoter wants you back. I think it's woken Callum up. Took this fight on 3 weeks' notice and knows he's in a real fight with a knockout artist who's coming to win. So I think it was good. I think it shows where Elvis is at mentally. This is a huge moment for him. And yeah, he's entertained us at the press conference, so it should be a great fight.
So, a shout out to Callum Simpson for boxing 3 weeks after his last performance on January the 11th. He was only in there for 2 rounds, but it's still rare, is it not?
Extremely rare, but Callum Simpson's a phenomenal guy. He's a phenomenal talent, phenomenal athlete, and he just wants to fight as much as possible. He's got one goal. That goal is to become a star. That goal is to win world titles. So he likes being in the gym. He likes the activity. He likes the challenge. You don't always get that with everyone. And he's a special guy, and I'm looking forward to another big statement on Saturday night.
Talking of his last performance on January 11th, I was slightly surprised So, sorry, was it January the 11th? I was slightly surprised in any case to see you at the highly prestigious Ring Magazine Awards instead of at your own show. Was it just too much of an important event to turn down?
Look, it was something that I was agonising over all week, and you know, it's horrible. The best thing about being promoter is being at the show. It's the best thing about the job. The problem was there were so many fights getting made for the rest of the stable that you're almost you can't not be there. I've got a business to run. I've got fighters that have to get fighters opportunities, and Callum understands that. This is in his interest. This is in the fighters' interest, and so many fights got made that night. I had to be there, and hopefully Callum will be one of many benefactors of that.
It makes sense. Some people in the industry have been talking about the nature or the longevity of your relationship with the broadcaster. Can we talk about it today? We can. So some people have been saying that Sky won't renew the contract. I believe it was Frank Smith who may or may not have started that conversation. I have not had an opportunity to discuss it with you yet.
Look, I've been told that our last 6 months for the past 4 or 5 years, our stable's never been stronger. The fighters that we've collectively invested in, both Boxer and Sky, are in a great position. The future looks extremely bright. It's never looked brighter. So I think if there was ever a time where Sky were thinking about boxing, it was probably when Matchroom left them with all the fighters and they had to start again. And yeah, it's been a process, and it's been something that we've both worked really extremely hard on. So to finally be at the other side, to finally have the stable that we have, to finally have the debutantes that we started together headlining, we're in a great space, and when we're both looking at the long term.
Do you feel that some people are inevitably out to get you because you're the young whippersnapper who's in a big position of leverage in boxing?
Absolutely, but it comes with the territory. It's good. I mean, when I was 21 years old, if I thought in 9-10 years' time I'm going to be in this sort of position, and I worked extremely hard, and I knew when I got my promoter's license at 23 years old that to get to the very top it was going to be brutal, and you're going to have everyone coming after you. And the reality is we are the young promoter. We're doing things younger than anyone ever has, and we're doing things that are unprecedented, and we have a great stable, so they're going to do whatever they can to stop. But at the moment, I think people have accepted that we're here to stay, and now the relationships are better and the fights are getting made.
And the message clearly is Boxer and Sky are just fine. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Last thing I want to talk about. I think you described the fight of the night as Michael Webster versus Jamie TKV. Am I correct?
Look, it's Betfred's fight of the night. I think it's a tough one to call. Of course, they're a gambling outfit, and I think two heavyweights that are going to go toe to toe is a big opportunity for Jamie. And Michael Webster, we know well, has also had now his experience in the heavyweight division, and wants to climb back up the ladder. So it's an interesting fight, but it's one Jamie TKV has to look at and say, this is my opportunity to get myself in the big time.
And Shalom, always a pleasure. Best of luck with the show. Thank you.
Yes,